It will be transported at night at 3 a.m. The police are not there. The county enforcement officers are not there. The NEMA team of 5, of course, covering the entire 30,000. Actually, it's not that 1,000. Kitui alone is not around 60,000 square kilometers. It becomes very difficult. So it becomes a problem of enforcement. So I think if we have a law which can be applied such that if you are caught with something Machakos, you don't say it is not from Machakos, from Kitui and vice versa. I think that's a very, very good suggestion and we have accepted it. If I may deal with what Senator Okola asked, which is he asked matters relating to own revenue and that was asked. Like in the case of Kitui, we collect cess. We have cess points where sand passing through various points in Kitui, they have to pay cess. And we have established a system where that cess is paid directly to our county accounts. And I occasionally do request to be given details of that. And in the proposed policy and the plan bill, which is already in the county assembly, we've given it to the county assembly. It was approved by the cabinet, and then it went to the county assembly, and we are waiting the county assembly to process. We have proposed really measures which will ensure we get revenue profit and employment is created for our people, including the youngsters. For example, lorries of a certain tonnage will not be allowed into the rivers. And we have said lorry for local commercial and non-local commercial will be collected from an aggregation.
I want to stop you again. I want to stop you there. For this is supposed to say that one won't talk of everyone. By the way, you know, it's quite some process since you submit a bill to the county assembly until the day that you assent with council. And number two, you also know that the bill has to give the county assembly may not be what the overstanding. That is why the public administration was not appeal. So this now cease from referring to that bill. Until that will come and go. Let's see what can we do now, between now and the question. Because what the DG never proposed is that the existing rules that are there already. Yet national law, yet whatever law. I will give an example. Yatara County does not have an according to this law. So they're still correct because they use an existing law. So I want us to not confine ourselves within that law, and in that sense, also answer the question of Senator Malombe. Was the ban lifted or is it still enforced?
The ban was not lifted. There was pressure on me to lift the ban, and I said I'm not to lift the ban until we have our own legislation to ensure enforcement. And I said the problem of that ban is there was no proper effective enforcement mechanisms. And therefore, even in 2018, 2019, 2021, when I was not governor, there was a lot of sand which was being carried from the rivers in Kitui. And that's the reason why we have said we are going to put legislation. But you have asked me, what do we do in the meantime? In the meantime, we just rely on the measures which have been outlined by NEMA. We'll work with them very closely. We'll use whatever enforcement mechanism is there as we are waiting for the law, because we think the law will give us much more teeth as it gets Mabweni, because Mabweni need to use their own law. So that's what I would say.
I want to have As you answer, I am also now a bit concerned. So now how do you collect revenue from people who are harvesting sand illegally because there's a ban?
There's a lot of sand which is collected during the day, but sand is, and quite substantial amount from my intelligence, which is collected ungodly hours. It's very easy to say, be there at 3 a.m. Our officers there, even police officers. Yeah. So the help I would like to request from the Senate is how we can effective enforcement of sand bans, sand regulations, which have been enacted by at the national level, but under NEMA. So that's one of them. So if we can be assisted with that, let me stop there.
All right, Governor, we hear you.
I am concerned, and I really have to say this. This is Parliament. We will be relying to write this report on these submissions written and what he is saying. Now, if there is a ban in effect, but there is harvesting during the day and sometimes at night, how are they allowing that harvesting during the day?
It shall then be what the governor says, and because I also sit in the Public Accounts Committee, sometimes governors tell us, please give these recommendations so that I will be acting on the force of these recommendations, because there are political issues that go around it. So as a committee, we should just give directions. Then it will be for the governor to do the needful.
This is very important.
Order, Senator Cheptumo. Order, Senator Cheptumo. Order, Senator Cheptumo. Okay, you have the floor.
Chair, so is there really a ban?
Yes, there's a ban.
For the day or for the night?
There's a ban for day, night, and even the ungodly hours that the governor has mentioned. Only that it has not been enforced. And the governor is crying to the Senate that we write recommendations that will help him enforce that ban.
But your question here is very critical. How do you collect money from these traders if there is a ban? Your question is critical, and that was actually where I wanted you to.
Okay.
Because you are our chair.
Okay.
That question should be answered.
Ponder on it, Governor Malombe. Let's first allow Governor for Machakos.
Thank you, Chair. First, I would like to really thank the senators for the good advice that you're giving us to try and enforce our problems on sand. Senator Kavindu knows very well in Machakos County, when we are called on, we arrest and fine. And I want to, maybe through Chair, address my former colleague in the Assembly, in the National Assembly, that we do not have courts in Machakos. I think my people are just used to writing Machakos County court. It's the national. We use the national government. We use the court. They do the work for us, and they collect the fines. The only thing we don't do is sharing the funds. So we are looking at the ways of them bringing the funds back to us from the courts. So it's the court that does it. They collect the monies, but we don't get the monies back.
So yeah, they need to amend that statement.
Yes.
To read now the normal, because the way it is saying county government of Machakos has established.
Okay, it's an
so I think you just need to change the wording.
We are going to correct that. It's the judiciary that does it and even collects the fines. So in Machakos, we are a bit firm. The problem that we're having is enforcement. And as we have said, we are employing 300 enforcement officers to help us enforce the protection of our rivers. The other is for us to make sure that the steady supply of, we have to make sure there is a steady supply of sand without harming the environment. So we are setting up the committees through public participation. You know, you cannot set up, we are calling all the stakeholders on in September, on the 7th of September, so that we can sit and agree, and even the people who sell the vehicles, we are calling everybody, even the owners or the what you call the industries, the owners who sell the vehicles like General Motors and all that. We are calling everybody so that we can all be on the same page and come up with a committee. We are also finalizing on the regulations. Yeah, for Machakos County, for us to make sure that the steady supply, I've told you, we are forming the committees. We are also embarking as a county on planting trees and creating weirs on the rivers. And we are even involving the community while we are doing that and educating them on it. On revenue, if you look at our act on 7A, is that there is established a fund to be known as the Machakos County Sand Harvesting Revenue Fund. The purpose of the fund is to provide the funding for the management of sand harvesting activities, for the fund of the rehabilitation of sand harvesting sites, for an avenue for the collection revenue from the sand harvesting activities, for the funding of ward-based community projects identified under Section 26. Yeah. So when you look at that, there's also the 3 years, the fund will consist of all revenue levied sand harvesting activities. So we already have that in place. It's just to make sure that we're clear on our regulations. Yeah. There is also we are going to charges, fees, interest, levies, penalties, or fines received by the county government in connection with the sand harvesting activities, monies appropriated by the county assembly for the purpose of the fund, any money received from the national government for the purpose of meeting the objectives of the act, the sum received as contributions, endowments, banquets, grants, and gifts, yeah, from individual, public, and private entities, both local or foreign donations, monies earned or realized from any investment of the fund. Such other monies may be payable, vested, or as may be lawfully accrued by the fund. So on the revenue part of it, we are taking care of ourselves, but first is to have public participation, and we have the committees so that we can implement that. Recommendations is for us, the recommendation is just set up a committee and have our DG here, allowing us to have 9 sub-counties. I need to have 9 environment officers gazetted. If I can have that, then they can work with my officers on the ground and our decentralized unit, which is the enforcement unit, to ensure that we protect our rivers. The other thing I would kindly ask Senate is to assist, as they have assisted in other areas like Turkana, the game parks, or Masai Mara in Narok, so that we can have a maximum benefit and controls and control over our county natural resources. We might not have animals, but we have sand. Tuko na mawe. Sorry, Chairman. Sorry, Chairman. Yeah. We have, like the Paris, those are areas that would really want Senate to look at all these natural resources that we have from different counties and see how you can help us also with regulation as we make our regulations. If you help us tighten it up here, we'll also try to tighten it down.
Just for information, maybe. For information, we tried to squeeze sand in the Natural Resource Benefit Sharing Act, but it was somehow removed. So you have to just do what you can do as a county in terms of legislation.
Chair, so there's nothing Senate can do on that?
No, there's all those laws that have been have been proposed are being done by the Parliament of Kenya. So it's not to say that there's nothing Senate can do. Senate will do what they should do. It's our work to protect the devolved units. That's our work.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Revenue for sand and the regulation, we have to do so.
No, I want you now, my members, to allow the governor to now, okay.
Thank you, Chair. I think we will, as you look and see how you can help us, we'll also look and organize ourselves.
Okay.
We have heard what you have said, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Governor.
Chair, by your permission, if I may just assure Her Excellency, actually, I've also sent a statement to this committee on the rocks and the hills that you are talking about on Lower Eastern. So it is coming soon, still through the same committee.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. DG, a challenge has been thrown to you. The governor for Machakos has asked a very specific request from you, using this particular forum of the Senate, that you give her 9 instead of 5. I think that's straightforward. You can even gazette them tomorrow. That's straightforward.
But the names needs to come from the governor so that we gazette.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, so you have your time now.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. There was a question from Senator Beatrice on the Kiroboko River. Chair, NEMA did some site verifications and inspections at this river as late as June 2023, led by our Regional Director of Environment, who is seated here. And we did issue a stop order to ensure that we stop all the applications for sand harvesting at Kiroboko River, including application done by a government agency called TARDA. As we speak, we've issued a restoration order and we've stopped all sand harvesting at Kiroboko River. And we will continue monitoring and ensure that we also propose a remediation plan between the county government and national government so that we'll be able to undertake restoration activities. But having said that, Honorable Chair, this is really a concerted effort for national government and the county government to work together to ensure that we address this situation holistically through the legal provisions that we have and also using the restoration fund that are proposed within our legislations to ensure that we bring partners on board, even doing bankable proposals to ensure that we restore those sensitive ecosystems. There's some question also, there was an observation also from Senator Beatrice on sand harvesting in other parts of the country. What we are proposing through the National Sand Harvesting Regulation 2023 covers the whole country because we like to establish these sand harvesting committees in all counties that are affected by sand harvesting menace, not just ASAL counties, but all the counties that are currently impacted by this. From Senator Mudhama on water pollution, indeed, it is a big challenge in Mavoko, and the main issue is untreated effluent discharge into our aquatic environment. And this basically comes from our sewer system, our sewer infrastructure. The sewer within Mavoko is overloaded, and recently we issued a restoration order to the Managing Director, Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company, to ensure that first, they upgrade, or rather ensure that the sewerage system works, and also the treatment plant at Kenani, because for sometimes been dysfunctional. So we've ensured that EPZD ensures that the treatment plant at Kenani works so that untreated water, wastewater does not get into the rivers for the community use. We will follow up this, Senator, personally, and ensure that we put appropriate measures in place to stop pollution.
Through you, Chair, can the DG give us timelines of when that will be done? Because this is really, really bad for the people. Timelines, please.
Through you, Chair, undertaking within the next 2 weeks.
That's 14 days, very
14
good.
days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. 14 days.
Yeah, very good. Now go ahead. You shall have some minutes. Go ahead, DG.
There was also an issue of tree growing proposed by Senator Mudama. We will work with relevant government agencies to come up with relevant tree species for doing river banks. Things like bamboo will be most appropriate to undertake river bank restoration. And we will work very closely with the two honorable governors to ensure that we restore the ecosystem, because basically these days we are looking at ecosystem restoration in the riverine areas. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Governor Vinya.
Thank you, Chair. I think we got the information the DG said, and we got a flashing unit from Nairobi for the sewer system. Yeah, and on the river, we are pouring a bacteria to try and eat up the waste, and also we are working on EPZ to repair. Our biggest problem there, or even at the river, is EPZ. They don't repair their sewer line when it gets when it gets blocked or have sewage, and then it pours on at river. And that at the river we have had hippos. Now our hippos are even dying. So EPZ also should work with us to make sure that they keep on unblocking their sewer system.
Governor,
Very well.
through you, Chair.
Okay.
Governor, you've had him give us 2 weeks.
Yes.
Follow up with him within those 2 weeks. That water should be cleared completely, because that water is going to Makueni, and the people of Makueni uses that water. So it's a long way that pollution goes. Thank you.
Very good. The governor for Kitui will come in, and because this was a very specific statement that was sought, we shall give directions as follows. I'm persuaded by the request by the senator for Taita Taveta that we are first supplied with the ban because it is existing. As a committee, we get that ban given to us in 14 days. If he was here, he would also tell us that if they can be able to do a memo to that effect, because it's a ban that was brought by the previous administration. So some people may imagine that it died with the previous administration. So they should be able to do a memo to the effect of the current government, so that people know that the ban is in existence. He has not been able to answer a question because it will then it will water down the enforcement of that ban if you are collecting revenue from it. If you have banned sand harvesting, then there's no way you can be able to collect revenue. If you have chosen that route, it can only be that route. It cannot be, there cannot be two ways about it. So I think those are the directions that we shall give as a committee. If we are in agreement, my members, because I thought that is straightforward. The governor has not contested that the ban is there. In fact, the governor is asking us to help him. So the way to help him is to first ask him that he supplies us with a copy of that ban, and then ask that the county does a memo to the effect of that particular ban. I'll allow you a final comment, the members. Then I'll allow the final comments from the governor from Machakos. I'll allow the final comments from the from the Director General Nema, and then we shall wrap it up.
And Kitui County, they have somebody who can comment, isn't it?
No, the executive power is the governor. The governor is coming in.
Okay.
He's coming in. He has told me that he's coming back. Otherwise, you shall say something, and then you go out and say the governor refused. So I will final comments from my members. Then as he catches a breath. Very good. Very good. So, welcome back, Governor. We shall allow you to make your final comments. As a committee, we then take the, we seem to have converged in the way we shall be able to handle this particular statement. Now that there is an existing ban, we direct that you supply this committee with a copy of that particular ban.
It is in the enclosures.
Oh, very good. And then we also then would want to advise further, because some people may imagine that the ban died with the previous administration. If you have done a memo in your tenure, you should be able to give it to the committee. If you have not, then you can do a memo to the effect of that ban, that the ban is still in force and you are enforcing it. So I shall allow the three of you to make your final comments, and we shall close it up.
Before maybe the governor goes, just something is crossing my mind, that if the ban is there and they're collecting revenue, then you do a memo now to continue enforcing the same. Then it can bring a problem.
The governor has not confirmed that they are collecting revenue from that.
Especially now if people contest it and say, now we collect revenue from us, please return our revenue. You can have the same ban or maybe even put another one. So that now it's like a new ban. You can see how to juggle around it. Otherwise, if you say there was a ban and please effect it and you'll be collecting revenue, give it back to me.
Well, we'll leave that one. For us is to direct, for the governor is to effect.
Thank you. The ban is in the enclosures, and as I said, and this is a house of records, and it's a place where we need to be honest with one another. It's been there since 2018. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, sand harvesting in an haphazard manner has not stopped. And the ban really bans the transportation of sand outside Kitui boundaries. And therefore the revenue we collect is for sand collected and being transported within the jurisdiction of Kitui. So let that be very clear. But we know.
And as we go on, maybe one of the officers can be able to cite the ban in the annexures. I don't seem to see it. But just go ahead.
The minister, maybe you can show the chair where the ban is. Just looking at it before. Then the other thing is, before Senator Mutinda, who raised this issue, went for another engagement, she requested me to ensure we stop this once and for good, and I want to assure her and this Senate we are going to do that.
Okay.
If you get a bit of time, I want you to look at actually the report of the task force, look at the policy, look at the legislation we are proposing. And this legislation, Mr. Chairman, the County Assembly members, we are engaging with them. We had all agreed we need that in order to stop all that illegal or unregulated sand harvesting. And they have indicated not later than December or earlier, we will have both the policy and the legislation, even if they were to do another public participation. We did public participation in all the 8 sub-counties. We have 8 sub-counties constituencies, and they were attended by over 2,250 people. And during public participation, people are being sensitized of the need they themselves to protect their own resource, because we think the best protectors, the best enforcers will be the people themselves. That has been shown in the case of other resources like forestry and so forth and so on. If you just rely on, and I'm sorry to say this, if we rely just on the police, if we rely on other mechanisms only, and the people themselves have not owned this and do that which they need to be doing, and in our policy and bill, it's very clear what they need to do. it may not be as successful as it could be if the people themselves are part and parcel of the conservation efforts. So that's where I would like to stop, but we'll work with the NEMA, we'll work with our sister county, Machakos, and even Makueni, and even Tana River, who border us on the other side. The governor, we relate very well in order to ensure that some of these resources are conserved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Governor. We ask that you do a memo from your own volition of the contents of this particular ban, and because that's something that does not require a lot of time. You can be able to surprise the committee in 14 days. The memo. Very good, Governor Machakos.
Yeah. Let me understand. The memo on the ban is about its existence, the way it has been implemented, its shortcomings, its ineffectiveness.
No, it's not a memo to the committee.
Yeah.
It's not a memo to our committee. It's a memo, just an internal memo of, you reminding your people that this ban is still in existence and it is being enforced. Yeah, very good.
Through you, Chair, because he has mentioned about involving that other county. Is it, which one did you say? Makueni,
Makueni,
Machakos, and which one?
And Tana River.
Tana River. Can you also involve Kajiado, because we are very near with them, and the part of Kajiado passes through Machakos and Machakos through Kajiado, and there is sand harvesting there, and there is collection of revenue, so that Machakos can see how it borders with Kajiado and how they work in collaboration, so that Machakos will get their own revenue and Kajiado will get their own, where we border there. Thank you.
Governor Machakos.
Chairman, mine is just to say thank you very much for inviting us. I believe no one has monopoly of knowledge. When you invite us and we come, we learn from each other for the benefit of our counties and country, and whatever we talk here and the advice that you have given us, we will go on the ground and work hard to implement. And I also want to thank the Senate for always fighting for us. We got all our funds on time, 2 weeks before the year closed. So thank you so much for being good to the counties. God bless you.
Very good, DG Nema.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the
Chair, can I thank the DG NEMA also, Chair?
Yeah.
I want to thank the DG NEMA also for accepting to give us the 9 officers for gazettement. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Governor. Honorable Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Chair. I think, Honorable Chair, we have very many regulations, laws, strategies that talks about environment and natural resource management in our country. We even have constitutional provision on environment. What we are lacking, Honorable Chair, is the responsibility of the citizens to ensure that they enhance the quality of the environment. What we require is the citizen action to work with the government, with the national and county government, to ensure that we look after our environment. And I think I want to plead with the Senate that this is our environment, it's our life and responsibility. And this is the message that needs to get to the citizen, that we all have individual and collective responsibility to look after our environment. On the 2 weeks commitment we made, Chairman, it's on the strategy that we are currently working on. Addis Abaki River Pollution Control Strategy is ongoing. We are doing a number of interventions, and within 2 weeks, we should start on robust enforcement actions within Mavoko, starting with EPZA and also Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company. We will map out all those illegal discharge points and ensure that they are properly monitored. This can be done through multi-agency, both the national and county government to be working together Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, our DG. Thank you very much, everybody who has been here. We give special thanks to members of the fourth estate. Thank you very much for always covering our proceedings. Our proceedings are never in camera. Our proceedings are always public because there's nothing that we deal with that is private here. I thank the County Assembly of Kilifi. I'm sure you've been able to learn. As we've said severally, there is no power that the Senate enjoy that are not enjoyed by the county assemblies anywhere. The same way we are directing Governor Malombe to give us documents in 14 days, and he will give us because we have directed. So it's the same way you are able to tell Governor Mungaro to supply you documents and your CECs from your county government to give you documents in whatever time so that you're able to play your oversight very clearly. Our role is the same. Oversight, legislation, and representation. You have had the challenge that has been thrown to you because you are the people who are here by the governor for Kitui. That what now remains is the work of the county assembly. He has done his bit. It is now your bit. Make legislation very quick so that we are able to move very, very quickly. I wish you the best as you enjoy your stay here in this good August house, and as you go back. Unfortunately, I hear you come from the Shakahola area. I think even the MC for Shakahola is here. Yeah, he's here. We are very sorry that that happened. I mean, it will be insensitive of any of us to imagine that it cannot happen to any of us, that kind of brainwash. And I wish you, Jenny Masses, as you go back, I would want to declare pecuniary interest. I'm a resident of your county. I've schooled in Pone University, and I have been living around the Misufini area in Kilifi just before I went back to Nyandarua to serve my people. I thank my members for...
Chair, before you finish, I have just one thing to tell the DG. DG, you're talking of us, letting the people know their role of taking care of the pollution. But if you have gaps in your law, kindly bring them to the Senate. We implement them for you so that you can have teeth to bite and do what is right. Thank you.
Very good. There's no law that we are here to support you. We shall do what we can and what we should. Thank you, members, for sitting through. It has been quite a long meeting. Thank you very much, Director. You've been with us. Even the last time that this meeting failed, you are here. You also were with us when we did our site visit to Nyandarua and the Nyeri, Aberdeen, and Nyonjero, Ihiderud. Thank you very much for being a very good and faithful partner. We wish you well. As you've said, we do not have another environment. It is only this one. If we do not care for our environment, be it in Machakos, the people of Nyandarua will cry. Be it in Kitui, the people of Tana River will cry. Be it in Mandera, the people of some other place will cry. So it must be our concerted efforts. I hope the commitment that you've made will even spin down to ensuring that, because you've said that we need to plant bamboo around the rivers, then you can even be able to take it further, engage the Ministry of Environment so that you can even provide sittings to Governor Wavinya so that she can also create employment, as she has said to the young men from that area. They will be willing to plant trees so that we take care of our environment. I thank you very much, our two governors, for sitting through. Thank you for this commitment. It's a commitment for the people. This is for the people that elected you. As I had said earlier, and I would want to repeat, congratulations for, I looked at the report of the Controller of Budget. For the first 9 months, all of you did better than the first 9 months of your predecessors. So grow your own source, seal all the gaps. Where we can help, it is our work to support the county governments. I'm happy that the Governor of Wavinya has noted that the current administration has beaten all odds and ensured that you have all your money. Governor Maroka has been there. He knows that it has never happened. It is unprecedented. The government, and I also take pride that I am, I'm a member of that party that gave us that very good government that is ensuring that the revolution works. Then make it work. When you get that money, we work very hard in the Senate, and you know it, to bargain for you So when we come back to the villages, when your center comes to the village and they find that there is medicine, they find that you are building the roads, they find that you are doing boreholes, we feel very encouraged. There being no other business, the date of the next meeting shall be communicated. The meeting is hereby adjourned.